Is a video on the Craftsman 18-inch, pretty new chainsaw. I got this, I think, in 2019, in the middle of 2019. So, and it was new. So relevancy. That's when this saw was made. I got a request to show how to replace the chain. And I guess tension the chain. So I'm by no means, just make a note, I'm by no means a professional chainsaw mechanic or someone that's been doing this for 20 years and a lumberjack by trade. I am just a casual homeowner user, but I'm mechanically inclined, and I can read the manual and watch online videos. So other than that, I'm just going to get right into it and show how I can adjust the take the chain off. Get my words down. Let me add some more light. Okay, replacing the chain or taking the chain off. Basically, just going to get in the light. Basically, just take these two bolts off right here, and this is the tool that was included with the saw. Very helpful, very handy. I have a whole bunch of other tools, but this is just an easy tool. You're just going to come in here. Basically, there's two adjustments. I'm going to get to the proper point here. The chain bar. Let's get that out of the way. The chain bar. I have a lot of things that I do, and I've got a lot of things in my head as far as remembering a lot of different parts for cars, chainsaws, dirt bikes, mountain bikes. But here we go. Yeah, the bar. So this locks the bar in, and so it doesn't move around. This is the adjustment that will tension the chain to give you the proper chain tension. You don't want that too loose or too tight. The manual says that you pull this down, and right at the top of these the tooth, or not the tooth, the guide that rides in the bar, you want to pull that down, and that doesn't want to come down a whole lot past the bar. That's what the instructions say. I mean, this might be just a hair too tight. But you could loosen that up. So basically, when these are not tightened down, and you want to make sure that the bar is kind of in the up position, because it'll have a little bit of flex to move down or move up, you kind of want to have it tensioned up. And so when these are loosened, not totally loosened enough where this just flops around, but just tight enough to where if you pushed on it, you could move this around. That's when you want to come in and you want to correct your tension by turning this screw. I just can't remember right or left, but righty tighty, lefty loosey is usually a pretty good means of keeping that in mind. But basically, just going to loosen these two bolts down. I mean, these two nuts. Back those off, and this needs to be unlocked, because when this is locked, it's in tension, so this cover will not come off. I found that out. So unlocked or not, seated in the locked position, take the screws off. I mean, the bolt nuts. Get my terminology right. You don't have to take this off to adjust the tension of the chain, but if you're going to replace it, you need to pull this off. And it might be, once these are loose, then you want to come in and you want to detension the chain. And I'm going to find out right now which direction is loosening it. This is going to loosen it because it's getting easier to turn. So now you can see I've got a lot more tension taken off my chain. So we're going to go ahead and continue to take this off. Put those in a safe spot. This cover pulls off. See, it's not in the locked position. It won't lock right now. And you can take this off and clean this, and I'll do that too, because this builds up. I haven't used this saw a lot since I last cleaned it, and it's got oil all over it from the chain bar. And I can just come in with a compressor and blow that out, or a brush, a cleaner, a mild cleaner, clean that off, spray it off with water, air dry it, put it back on. So basically, with this off, this bar can move now in and give you quite a bit more tension. I mean, less tension, excuse me. and then this just pulls off the front. And there's your chain off. You can put a new chain on it. You just want to get the correct chain for the length of your bar. All right, to put it back on, it just goes right back on the way you took it off. I need to clean my saw, and I'm going to do that. I just keep my stuff really, really clean. And especially when it's put away for the winter, and you're not going to, you're not going to use it a lot. Make sure this bar is pulled back, and you can get this around. And it's not caught on the bottom of the chain catch. Make sure all the, can't remember what my terminology is for these are the wood cutting teeth, and these are, I guess, the guide, the chain guides, be a good terminology. Okay, so without that cover on, you're going to get this, to show you. I mean, you're sliding this bar forward and backwards and adjusting the tension. So we've got it good right there. Nothing's tightened down. And then we want to come in and we want to put this on. If I'm not mistaken, let me gauge this right. You want to make sure that this little gear that goes to your chain tensioner fits in the hole right here, which it should. I mean, you just have to monkey around with it. And the lighting in here is not that good. Excuse me, I'm just drawing a blank right here real quick. I haven't done this, and the lighting in here is not that great. I know that the bar is supposed to okay, you want to make sure that the little hole, the adjustment hole that moves backwards and forwards, you get that lined up so that this cover fits on. That's the hardest part of this. And then let me clean my hands off. I'm doing this all in the video. And then you want to put your nuts back on. And you want to just get those where they're not just hanging, where the bar is just flopping around. So you want to just tighten those up just enough to just where they just barely start to catch. Okay, but you can still move the bar. So now we're going to come in and we're going to adjust the tension. So we're going to take the tension back. That's too much. Pull that way down too far. Got to tighten it up a little bit. Per the manual. I don't care what everyone else says. In the center of the chain, you want to pull that down. I still think that's just a little bit too much. You don't want your chain coming off when you're cutting a log and the log tweaks and the one side bends, or however you have the log supported. It can put pressure, pinch the saw bar and the chain, and it can cause the chain, if it gets too much off, pushed at an angle, it can lead the rest of the chain to skip off the bar, and then when that does that, it's messed my chains up and it's ruined one of my bars. Not on this particular saw. So you got lubrication. You always want to make sure your chainsaw has the chain bar lubrication in it. But right now, just a little more tension. That's pretty good. I would, maybe just a hair, just a smidge more. Pull that down. And the gap between not the teeth, but the guide, you don't want to have too much gap right there in between that. You don't want to pull that down. That's probably good, probably just a little more tight. Okay, so there we go, there we're good. See, I'm gonna pull, the bar can be moved up and down. So I'm gonna pull the bar up. Don't cut yourself on your teeth. Pull that up, come in and tighten the nuts down. And then put some torque on them. And go back and forth between the two. Don't need to kill yourself by doing that, but just make sure they're pretty good tight. Put some strength into it. And then there you have your blade on it. That's what the manual says as far as the tension. That's pretty decent. So tool, and that's taking your the process of taking the chain off and putting it back on and tensioning it. Make sure these can be really, really sharp and they can cut your hand, so you need to just be careful when you're handling that. But that's it for the video. If you like what I've shown, subscribe. And I just do some random stuff on my videos, car things, mountain bikes, guns, knives, chainsaws, all kinds of things. So at least like the video if you found it informative, and subscribe if you just want to occasionally see some things from me and find what I do interesting. All right, thanks. Have a good day.